Hi, welcome to Yuvonda Wells podcast. Yuvonda is a master Reiki teacher, medical Qigong practitioner, the creator of Yuvonda's Healing Arts Orgone products, and uses an evidence-based protocol. I am Divine Fractal, and I'll be your host today. Now let me introduce you to Yuvonda.
Hi, Divine. How are you today?
I'm doing really great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast.
I'm so happy everybody's here. I noticed that you had a really great response after you put out your introductory video.
I did much better than I anticipated. I had quite a few comments on the video, and then several people sent messages and emails to me, and they were all complimentary. One thing that I noticed that several people had commented upon, they wanted to know what I did to be able to walk again. What was my healing process? What did I do to go from a quadriplegic to walking to eventually hiking and fully functioning adult again?
I think
So that's
it's an amazing story, and you, I know, are filled with all kinds of incredible, helpful information. I think that it'd be great if you want to talk about that today.
I would. This is what I want to do. I want to just share the things that I've learned, and maybe it can help someone. You never know. So,
Absolutely, yeah. So,
so
what would you say to someone if they were trying to heal themselves? What did you do first?
oh, I wanted it. I believed it, and I knew it. I knew I could heal despite what anyone said. Didn't matter that the doctors were telling me I wouldn't make it overnight. I'd probably never walk again. I just, it's going to be a vegetable. It didn't matter what they said. It didn't
Right,
matter what anyone said
and
because I knew.
you were actually non-speaking quadriplegic, correct? You
Correct.
absolutely were completely paralyzed and had no control and couldn't do
Completely.
anything.
I could do nothing by myself. I was an invalid. I was an absolute invalid. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't wipe myself. I
And was
couldn't.
that from
I
a
couldn't
car
really.
accident? Was that a car accident that caused that?
It was caused from a tear in my heart, clots that went to my brain, and caused strokes, massive strokes. I had documented 7 major ischemic strokes, 2 major hemorrhagic strokes, and over 300 documented mild traumatic ischemic strokes. Strokes. So at one point, my hypothalamus was completely gone. CT scans, MRI scans could not detect it. 25% of my brain was completely destroyed. It was just like a puddle inside my skull. So there
Wow,
was no part of my brain that was unaffected. Every single part of my brain was affected from the massive clot. Yeah,
that's
clot.
absolutely incredible and horrible. So this
Mhm.
this left you completely as a non-speaking quadriplegic, and you
Correct.
you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk to anyone, you couldn't ask for help even.
Nope.
And but here you are today, and you're beautiful, and you walk and you
Mhm.
talk and you do all these amazing things. And I would never have known that you had these injuries. I of course met you after you had healed from these injuries, but I would never have known. So yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would like to know what you did and how you did it to recover.
Yeah. So I want to kind of give you a heads up that this wasn't my first rodeo. I had healed from a previous traumatic brain injury where my brainstem had been sheared, lots of other damage, um, loss of memory. I once I came to, I didn't know I was married, had a husband. I vehemently denied I would marry someone like him. It was pretty awful. So I healed from that, and I used the same processes that I'm applying now. There's a little bit more that I added for this specific situation because my brain was so destroyed. So, so first of all, um, you got to want it. Second, believe it. Third, know it. Set the environment. Collect your building materials, and then do it.
Okay,
So
so
six
you
steps.
You absolutely have 6 steps that you would suggest to people. So I know the first one
Absolutely.
you said was that you have to want it.
You have to want it. You have to want it. And so when you want something, you have to be willing to do the work. This is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. If you're not willing to put forth the effort, continuous effort, it's kind of useless.
Right, it's
Uh,
not going to happen.
it's
I
not going
think
to happen.
there's times when people say that they want to heal, but they maybe actually aren't ready to heal. They actually are not. They don't want it yet. So that blocks you. And then you said the next thing
Correct.
was that you have to believe it. Can you tell us
You
about
have to
that?
believe. Yes, you have to believe it. Every part of you has to believe that you can achieve your goal. For me, it was to heal my brain, to be able to talk, to be able to walk, to be able to be a fully functioning adult. That was my goals. I did not waver. I absolutely did not waver on what I wanted, and I believed. I believed for me that I could do it. I believed I had the fortitude, the strength, and the determination to continue despite no one wanting to help. When I mean help, people help only to a certain point. There was no one that could heal me. There was nothing that could heal me. I had to do the work. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, they're waiting for the med beds. Oh, they're waiting for this. They're waiting for something to heal them. You're going to be waiting a very long time. You have to heal yourself. And it's not just the physical, there's the emotional components, there's the past traumas. There's so many factors, but there's nothing that's going to heal you. You have to heal yourself. It's that simple.
Right, and I know along with believing it, we had talked before about other people. So I know sometimes other people are really well meaning and they say they want to help
Yes,
you. But I know I've had the experience of going to doctors and noticing them saying something really negative. Like, oh, this is fine now, but in 2 years or in 5 years, this is going to happen. And like they kind of put these negative things in your head. And I think when you were talking about believe it, I think that talks about that kind of addresses that issue too, right? About other people that are so-called well-meaning putting
yes.
things in your head.
So what you listen to, what people tell you, if it doesn't align, excuse me, if it doesn't align with your goals, you have to step away. You have to get away from that, whatever it takes, literally whatever it takes. For me, it was very dramatic and drastic because it was my life. It was the ability to be completely invalid, where somebody had to care for me 24/7, or I would not exist, or I took the matters into my own hands and I healed myself so I could take care of myself. And there was no compromise. If you did not align with my belief system and you weren't assisting, you had to go. You
Okay.
absolutely had to go.
So that's absolutely like pretty much just having to block out some of those things
Yes,
from well-meaning people,
yes,
whether it's your doctor or your husband, your wife, a loved
yes,
one. Yeah,
yes.
and I've seen that before. I've seen that before. People say that they're trying to help, but
But they
they're
don't.
they're not. They're making it worse.
So, so an example of things that I faced, once I got home, I had assisted care, come in and take care of me. They were just assistants. They cooked for me, clean, helped me take a shower. One of them, she was very kind, very, very kind. And she showed up, regular scheduled day to help me. And she's like, I was talking to my husband last night. I told him it's just so sad. It's just so sad. I was like, what's so sad? She's like, you. It's like, okay, why am I so sad? She's like, well, just look at you. You're just a waste, an absolute waste. She's like, it's so sad. You're just a waste. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. I fired her.
Oh
And then the next
wow.
day,
Wow, that's
so when the
awful.
second, yeah, so when the second one came in the next day, she said something very similar. So you gotta go. You're fired. So note that I needed help bathing. I needed help preparing food. To now I have no help. So
Wow.
that's okay. I can figure it out. So I would literally crawl and open up the fridge and drag out food. And if I couldn't eat it raw, it didn't get eaten, until someone came over to help. But but I knew what I was up against. I could not function with someone telling me I'm just such a waste.
Well, no, because that's clearly indicating that they've given up on you. That
Yes.
person, that healthcare quote unquote healthcare worker, has given up on you. They've given up on you, and it's in their eyes, they're just giving palliative care, and you're not going to be there very long, and it's so sad. Yeah, that's horrible, and that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. Except I've never experienced anything that drastic. Oh, I'm so
It was
sorry. That is
drastic.
horrible. No one should have to go through that. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's bring this back on track. So you said you have to want it, you have to believe it, you said you have to know it, right? So if you want to heal, if you
Yes.
want to create healing in your body, wow.
You have to know it with everything that you are. So when I fired the assistant, I knew I could make it without her. I knew it was also going to be very challenging, and I knew I was going to upset a lot of my family members, and I did, but I couldn't have that around me. But that was okay. I had a stack of Power Bars I could
Oh
eat.
my gosh.
I just didn't get a shower as often per week. That's okay. I learned how to, get a washcloth and wash myself. I learned it honestly forced me to do more than I thought I was ready for. That's okay. Um, I don't recommend that for everyone. I recommend, talking with your family. If something like that happened, talk with your family, your friends, the people that are helping you, and find another assistant. But
Right? Right? And these
but,
are
but
these are all examples you're talking about right now though about like of the
yes,
different times because I know that you've been disabled multiple times. So I know that these are
yeah,
different various times that you're talking about different levels of ability and
yes.
inability. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you need to
So
want it, you need to believe it, you need to know that you can make it happen. And
yes, you,
then,
you need to,
so
no matter what
those,
anyone says, just
right.
know it
So
within you.
if you can't do those things, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to absolutely
Right.
start with those things. And then
Okay.
what's going to be the next step for healing after those things?
Well, I'd like to address something on the know it part.
Yeah,
So
please.
there are people that want it and they believe it. But something happens when it comes to that full, every part of your soul, your body, everything that you are knows it. Something's missing there. So when that happens and you can't verbalize it enough to convince yourself and everything that you are that you do know it, if there's a blockage there, I highly recommend going within and finding out what your path truly is. Because when it comes to the physical body healing, not everyone heals, no matter how much they say they want it, because one, it's not their path. And perhaps it was the physical injury or trauma or illness that's leading to meeting their goal, which was part of their life path, the reason they came here to learn. So just because you want it and you believe it, if there's something in that knowing that's missing, I highly recommend going within,
Okay.
because even as a Reiki practitioner, some people are, I see it often. Some people aren't meant to physically heal because that physical ailment has prompted them to heal in another manner.
Right, like that is their experience.
Yes,
That like
yes,
that is part of their mission here or their experience here that they need to go through
yeah,
whatever trauma that is or whatever healing that is and they might not recover because that's all they came here. Maybe that's one of the last things they came here for.
yes. Even though I'd like to wave my magic wand and heal absolutely everybody in every way possible, that's not my path, and that's not the path of everyone. So,
Right.
so okay, so the next step would be set the environment.
Okay.
So the environment is getting rid of the negativity, right? Um, the so the people that the talk, the way you speak to yourself, the way others speak to you, the music you listen to, the TV shows you listen to, whatever it is, It has to be as positive as possible. The environment has to be as clean as possible. So when you're in recovery from whatever it is, you typically aren't in your usual routine, and house isn't just wonderful. Or if you're in the hospital, there's chemicals, there's people with their own illnesses and traumas that you cannot escape.
Right.
It's just impossible to get out of that environment. So what you do in those situations, when it's not optimal, you just put a bubble of energy around you, and everything within that bubble, kind of like a balloon, that's literally all the way around you. Everything inside that bubble is absolute perfection. Pure oxygen, pure love, pure, just the highest loving vibration, healing vibration possible. That you're clean, your body's clean, wherever you're at, sitting or lying down, it is just perfect. It's the most comfortable, wonderful, wonderful everything. You create it because with your mind, you can create absolutely anything. It's manifestation.
Okay, so what you're telling us is when you can't have optimal situation and you don't have control over your environment, that what you need to do is visualize a
Yes,
perfect environment in like a bubble around yourself so that you can block out
yes,
these other things that are affecting you. Okay,
yes.
I think that's so incredible and so important.
Okay, so music is very important. There's a Dr. Emoto. He's a Japanese man that did studies on water. Take two glasses of water that will just narrow it down, and one glass of water, all kinds of negative things was spoken to it. The other glass of water, loving, positive things were spoken to it. Took droplets and froze them. They turned into crystals, and under a microscopic examination, the ones with the negative words was very fractured, distorted, rather ugly. The crystals that formed from the water of love and kind and positive words was symmetrical and beautiful and perfect or near perfect. So when you set your environment, you have to have everything in that positive, loving state. It's how you speak to yourself, how you speak to your body. So for me, my legs didn't work, my hands didn't work, my arms didn't work, my voice, nothing worked. There was a time when I was just really angry at my body and I told it ugly things and it responded appropriately and I got worse.
Right. Like I can imagine being like, "Oh, my stupid legs" or something. Why are you not
Yes,
working? I can
yes,
totally imagine that. And
yes,
so what you're pointing out is so valuable. You're saying like, "Hey, remember how you speak, those frequencies you speak to yourself in, that we are, for example, so much water, but not just that energy, that how you
yes,
speak to yourself, that really has a tremendous impact." And I think it's overlooked all the time.
it is. It is. Your body, the individual cells, they have a consciousness, and amputees, they know this, missing a finger and some kind of a limb, a leg, an arm, and they'll have phantom pain. It's because of cellular memory. Your cells have a memory. They remember. They remember if you fed them, give them all the proper nutrition, and you want them to work hard. They remember. They'll do their job, but if you want them to do maximum, you have to love them. It's just like if you go to work. Are you going to give your best to a boss that treats you like crap, won't give you the tools, won't give you the
Right.
time, and
Right.
expect an absolute perfect job? Or a boss that, here's all the supplies. Do you need anything else? I appreciate you. I love you. Well, they probably won't say I love you, but you know,
Maybe it depends on where you work, I guess, but
yeah, it depends on where you work. But there's a difference, and you know you're appreciated. You know that your work is good.
absolutely. Absolutely. I know for myself that's true. I've seen that in a lot of other people too. If you work for someone that doesn't appreciate you, you tend to just do the minimum of what you have to do. As opposed to
Yes,
if you're genuinely appreciated and you feel valuable, then you often you do what you're supposed to, but you usually go above and beyond that also because you feel
yes,
like you are appreciated. So you're saying that's the same thing for the cells in our body, that if we
yes,
show them love and appreciation, that they'll also perform and perhaps perform above and beyond.
Yes, because they know they're appreciated.
That's
They
amazing.
know it.
That's
Um,
amazing.
okay, so the other thing that so in my situation there was trauma,
Right.
and trauma we if trauma the energy of that trauma, if that's not removed quickly and cleared from the body, it will become permanent. It means it stays in there. So the environment is a very low frequency, a very low vibration. And low vibration goes toward the negative polarity, which goes back to the water spoken with the negative words.
Okay.
So any
So
cells,
so if you have trauma and that sets into your body, that basically what you're saying is that's going to be a low frequency area. That's going to be a low vibrational area. And that's where you're going to have
yes,
pain and continued issues. Okay, that makes sense.
yes, because the cells that go to that area enter that room, that area of low vibration. It's like, hey, we got a wonderful boss over here, but we got a job we got to do over in this room, and oh, it's awful. We don't like this boss. They're not going to perform. Just like water crystals, it's not going to form perfectly. So if you want the cells, you want the cells that you want your cells to heal, you want to grow new cells that are perfect, you have to give it a perfect environment. At least the best you can do with the highest frequency, the highest vibration possible. So you have to literally remove that energy. So how do you do that? You can come see me. Check it out.
Yes, of course.
Okay, well, yes, yes, of course. But barring that, you can literally, with no training whatsoever, to yourself, and I'm telling you, to yourself, you can imagine energy coming in through your crown, and it's pure and white and clean. And it just fills your body and every cell, and it just keeps washing down like a shower, all the way down, and it just flushes everything negative, all the way down and out through your feet into the ground. And Gaia can handle it, trust me, she can handle it. Don't you worry about that. You just worry about yourself. If Gaia's the mother, mother cares about her child. So you get yourself
She'll take
well, she'll
care of
take
you.
care of her.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can do that. That will also help the energy flow to bring in new, fresh energy and just keep things flowing. Because if you keep the garbage around, it's going to be stagnant. It's
You
going to
know,
create a low frequency
you
place.
you had mentioned to me about an example that I thought made a lot of sense. Like if you hit your thumb with a hammer, for example.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so we naturally instinctively know how to get rid of this injury frequency trauma. So if you smash your finger, if you've ever done that, like instinctively you'll be slinging it. The thing hurts. The fingertip hurts really bad where you smashed it, and you would think it would make it worse. However, slinging it somehow helps it. Well, the reason is because you're getting rid of that trauma injury, that trauma frequency, that low vibration that caused the injury. Excuse me a moment.
No, you're fine. So I know I know I've smashed fingers before building things or whatever, and I know I've done that exactly thing that you're talking about. You shake your hand out and it doesn't actually make it feel any better, but you still find yourself doing it. You can't stop yourself. So basically you're saying that like that motion of that is sort of like shaking out that trauma so it can't set into
Yes,
the injury.
yes,
And so I know
yes,
inside of our bodies we have fascia that connects things together, and if you have an injury like a car accident or something, that it gets stuck in the fascia, that sort of holds that trauma, holds that injury there until something is
yes,
done to release it. And I know that they say it takes like 3 minutes for that to set in if there's trauma. So I guess that's
yes,
why you shake your hand right away, because you're trying to like
yes,
keep it. But
yes. Animals, they instinctively do it all the time.
oh my
If you've
gosh.
ever seen a cat or a dog fall down or get bumped or some little trauma or a big trauma happen, so when they get up, they'll shake their whole body and
Yeah,
shake, 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 shake,
they sure do.
and then they wait a moment. Sometimes they'll shake more
Yeah.
until all of a sudden they're just like, okay, and then off they go. It's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's a great example. You're right. They do. They shake. I've watched my dog do that.
Yes,
So
they
what
they
if?
intuitively,
But
instinctively know.
what if you can't though? What if you can't? What if you can't shake the trauma off? If you know, there's supposed to be 3 minutes approximately for it to set into your
Yes.
body and you want to shake it off, but what if you can't shake it off because of circumstance?
Circumstances. So back to imagine your imagination. Imagery is so important. It's powerful too. It's real and it works. Bring in beautiful, clean, white, high vibration light in through the top of your head. Bring it through every part of your body and just literally wash it through like a shower. Imagine that energy, that high frequency being a shower, and it cleans your whole body, every cell, every molecule, every atom, and returns it to this super high frequency love state. It's just perfect. And just let it flow, that the stagnant energy, the low frequency energy, just flow into the ground. And that's how you do that.
Oh, that's beautiful. So even if you were trapped in the conference meeting and someone said something horrible in front of a bunch of people and you can't shake your whole body out, I mean, you could.
Nope.
They'd probably think you're
but it's not
crazy.
gonna be good.
Yeah, they would think you're crazy. But you could
Yeah.
visualize instead and shower that through. Or if you were
Yes.
just in an accident or something, but you were unable to move for some reason, you know, I don't know, you were pinned under something or you hurt your leg or something.
Fall down.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you can't jump up and shake it out, then to visualize
Yes.
clearing that out and
Yes.
and grounding that into the ground, right? Grounding that and let Gaia take it and dissipate it.
And even if you can't do it right away, at some point you'll be able to at least think about it to do it, and just think and do it if you physically can't make any motions. Because if you can bring your hands up and imagine it, you bring in this column of beautiful white light in, and it's just coming around your body, through your body, and down to the ground. If you can't physically move your hands and arms, you can imagine it.
Okay.
So you can direct energy with your thoughts.
No, and
Your
that
mind
absolutely makes sense. And I'll tell you, I know that there have been sports studies done where they
yeah,
train high-level
yes,
professional athletes to visualize, imagining like hitting the golf ball perfectly or throwing the perfect football or baseball or whatever sport it is. And they know that this works because, and just inside the mind, not actually physically moving any muscles at all, but that going through it in their mind trains their body. So there's evidence. They know it works.
they do. So now we know it works.
Now we know
I'm
it
proof.
works.
I am absolute proof.
You are proof.
I
You're living proof.
am proof. Okay, so all right, so something else. So imagery. Yeah, learning to meditate. If you don't know much about meditation, doesn't matter. If you can imagine it and picture it in your mind, it can happen. You can create it. So when it comes to the human body, I studied human biology, and when it came to anatomy, physiology, I aced everything. It was just came natural to me. But for those that it doesn't, or need a brush up, or just have no idea what the inside of your body looks like, I recommend something like this. It is a book, it's a coloring book of anatomy. And this one's anatomy and physiology. Okay, this is advanced. This is the advanced one. This is a simple one. This is just anatomy.
That's a great one.
So,
I like anatomy coloring book. That'd be my speed
yes,
for the anatomy because it's a difficult
yes.
topic.
It is a very difficult topic, and you can color it to help it stick, to help you to understand what it is. So if you just imagine going inside your body, if you practice enough, it'll actually happen. It doesn't quite look the same because you're looking at it from an energetic perspective, but at least you know the locations of typical locations of organs. There's always that anomaly. There's somebody that's got two hearts.
Sure.
There's organs on the other side of the body.
The Doctor Who, of course, he has two hearts. I had to throw that out there. Sorry, I'm a big fan. David Tennant. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
So,
recently I actually did that, Yuvonda. I stopped at a bookstore and looked up where was one of my organs because I was having a problem with it and I didn't know where it was. And I was not interested in the doctor's solution of just immediately surgically removing it. So I wanted to think about where is this organ? What's it look like? How can I send it healing and love? So thank you. Cause I totally agree with you. I think that's so helpful. And I'm going to go get an anatomy coloring book, I think, cause I think that would be helpful.
so how's it doing now? Because I'm assuming, hopefully correctly, but so did you try the imagery? to heal it?
I did use some imagery to heal it, and sent it like lots
Okay.
of love and gratitude. I did. I sent it gratitude and reminded it how much I loved it and thanked it for all it was doing. And I am very conscientious, especially like immediately afterwards of what I was eating, but still now, what am I eating? Am I putting nutrients and love and healthy things into my body, or am I caving into the disgusting things that,
Candy bar?
yeah, the disgusting food that passes as food. It's not food, right? These things that people eat that want to constantly want to give you the stuff. Yeah, so no, I did just have a checkup with my doctor, and she said that I am doing fantastic. And so
Good.
I'm good. Just she says we're just going to keep
Yay.
monitoring, so we're good. So
Okay,
yeah,
good,
so
good,
I have to think that did help. I have to think that
good.
helped.
It makes me happy. It's work. It doesn't just work on me. It works on anyone. Oh, okay, so imagery. That's how you heal yourself. That's how, okay, let me rephrase that. That is what I used to get my body to heal itself, which I'm my body, right? It's part of this whole collection of me. So, but like I said, even with brain injury, I knew the body parts. I knew the physiology. That wasn't an issue.
Yeah, I think
So
it was
instead
an
of,
advantage that you had studied that and it came kind of easy to you.
absolutely,
But for people it doesn't come easy to, they can go get an anatomy coloring book.
yes. And I've actually, well, this one's colored. No, I think the other one's colored. But I've gone through several of these because drawing them, coloring them would help me when I'd have days that weren't so wonderful and I was able to use my hands. It helped calm me, soothe me. And I was coloring with pencils. Yeah, I think it was pencils. I don't think I used crayons on them. It was soothing, it was calming. And then as I colored, I just colored in my mind, perfection. They are absolutely perfect.
I love that. And
So,
listen, coloring books are very popular right now because they have realized that they have therapeutic value.
oh,
They're
they're fun.
teaching people to color, to practice mindfulness and type of meditative state,
Yes,
and color itself is very healing, right? The different
very healing.
frequencies and vibrations. So I love that. I love that you tell us that. Yeah, I actually am still using these coloring books. I still color them in and imagine perfection. I love that. I'm getting one. That's it. I'm going to order one on immediately.
I think I've had three or four. I've colored them all up, and so these are the newest ones that I've got.
I
It's
love
just
that.
fun for me. But it's also fun in a very goal-oriented way because I know what the end results that I want, and this just helps me get there.
Right.
Okay, so like I said, I use imagery instead of just like the whole brain. Imagine the whole brain healing. I had to do more than that. It was literally down to the cellular level. And so the first thing that's needed on a cellular level is macrophages. And it's part of your system. I call them Pac-Man. They look like little Pac-Man and they'll move like this, but instead I just go chomp, chomp, chomp. So what they do, it's part of the cleanup crew. The little macrophages, they will come in like Pac-Man, like the old video game. I don't know if you all remember, go to the arcade, put the quarters in, and you had this, joystick, whatever.
I remember
Maybe more out.
Pac-Man. Pac-Man was awesome.
Yeah. So that's what the macrophages do, is they go in and they clean up the debris. They clean up dead cells, old cells, damaged cells. You need the macrophages to clean up the system. So back to the frequency thing. So these macrophages, they're really good at their job, but they have to go in your body's sewage system. So if you still have that trauma energy, the sewage system isn't going to flow. So you still got to pull in that clean energy, flush it through your body, flush, because we're in the sewage system, and flush it out. That will help your lymphatic system, your lower intestines to pass waste, your bladder to function better. You have to drink a lot of water too. Yes, yeah, water. Back to the
Water,
water.
really
We're over
important.
70%. Over 70% water, that'll help flush it out. So you're setting the environment even more so for optimal conditions for cell replication, cell duplication, you know, to grow without scarring, to grow in perfection. So when the cells rub together, they're not scarred like this and they fight against each other and you end up with a lot of pain. You'll have perfectly smooth cells that just slip and slide and everything's wonderful and it's just joyous and let the orchestra play. It really is that simple. So you have to keep your body clean, energetically clean, cellularly clean. And at some point, you've got to give it the building materials that it needs because we're human and we're in the 3D. Most of us, I can't do it. Most of us cannot live off of light because from light, which is energy, comes everything else.
Right.
There are masters that can manifest physical things out of energy. I'm not there yet. I want to be.
Right. I'm not there yet either. Love to be.
I'm working on it.
Not quite.
And I would love to be able to get all of my nutrition, everything my physical body needs from light without having to grow it, buy it, wash it, clean it, cook it.
Well, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it would be fun. I enjoy eating food, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. It'd be fun.
It would, just perfect. You got to live a little. There's nothing wrong with the decadence every now and then.
Right.
But so you have to supply it with the nutrients that it needs.
Right. Well, just like if you worked in construction and you were going to build a house, right? You would have to collect, 2x4s and drywall and nails and all kinds of things to build a house, right?
Yeah, and it's even more simple than that. If you want to brush your teeth with a toothbrush and toothpaste, you have to collect your materials. Those are building materials or working materials. They're still materials that you have to get. Because without those two things, you're not going to be able to brush your teeth with toothpaste. You have to collect it. So it has to be provided. Somehow, some way, you need to get, the most nutrition for whatever your ailment is.
You were in a really bad spot several times, being unable to move. So you were therefore unable to cook for yourself. So what'd you do?
All right. So when I was in the hospital, so before the strokes, I ate very clean, live foods, raw. I did grill. Grilling's mostly what I did for my protein.
You were a marathon runner for a while, right?
Yes.
So you ate really well because you were a marathon runner. That was part of what you were doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So nutrition was not an issue, and I was very accustomed to non-processed foods. They were live, healthy, fresh, organic, no GMO foods. That's what I consumed.
And then you ended up in the hospital.
Yes.
With a tray full of God knows what they put in front of you.
Yeah. Everything was processed. It wasn't optimal for me. It wasn't even good for me. So because I couldn't eat, when I was able to swallow, they gave me Ensure to drink.
That sounds awful.
It's really good for you. For me, it was like drinking liquid plastic.
Yeah.
I literally vomited. It was so bad. But I know people that drink Ensure. Okay, I couldn't do it. I asked them at some point, it's like, do you have any fresh fruit? And can you just take it and put it in a blender, throw some ice cubes in it? And they're like, well, how do you do that?
Put fruit in a blender with ice cubes? Yeah.
All they had was canned fruit.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh.
There was no fresh.
That's not good. Yeah, that's not good.
Everything was processed. So I did the best I could. I just imagined. I forgot. I don't know if I've shared this with you, Divine, but so what I did, because I couldn't, it was just rough. I couldn't do my full Reiki stuff. So I just thought, love, love, love over my food. And I was grateful. And I was grateful for it. And I imagined whatever it was, that it was exactly what my body needed. And that once it entered my mouth, it was going to transform and give my body exactly what it needed. Well, I got well enough to get out, so something worked.
I think there's absolutely power in that. I do believe in prayer or blessing your food before you eat it. There are actually scientific studies about that too that shows that somehow that actually does transform food enough. I mean, I don't know how you measure that, the transformation part,
I don't know.
But they have done studies to show, as far as like for example, plant reactions, okay, that
Yes.
they can measure plant reactions when you cut them, when you injure them, when you are having angry intent toward them. Believe it or not, they can actually measure that. And when you say a prayer or bless food, that reaction comes way down. Like, I mean, there's still a minimal reaction, but it comes way down. So it does matter. It does make a difference. And I do the same thing if I know I'm eating something and there's something possibly questionable in there, an ingredient, right? Or, you know, sometimes you're someplace you don't know. You go to a restaurant or something and you want to get something healthy, but maybe you're not sure if there's one or more ingredients that aren't that good for you. And I'll do the same thing, and I'll say, you know, please let this nourish me. And if there's anything that's not good, for it to pass through me harmlessly, right? To not affect me in a
Yes.
negative way.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And I'm really glad you mentioned prayer. Prayer, I highly recommend, ask your friends and family to pray for your healing if that's what you want. But prayer works.
Yeah.
I had so many people praying for me, and I know with all that I am, had they not prayed, I would not be where I'm at today. I know it. I could feel their prayers, but also note that I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to energy.
Right.
People thinking about me, I pretty much know it. So, but
Right.
it helped me so much. It helped to ask them to pray for you, for your highest good.
Right.
And I do recommend highest good.
Well, that's actually
Sometimes,
another thing that they've done studies on. They've done one of the studies they did was on people meditating for there to be like less violence in the world. Basically, they got a huge group of people together and they did measurements, and
I
they
remember
found out,
that. Yes.
yeah, and they found out that it was actually extremely effective, extremely effective. So prayer,
Wasn't there less crimes, less auto
yes,
accidents,
yes, there was.
less visits to the ER room, and less deaths?
Yeah,
I believe.
significantly left. And I don't remember all the numbers, but it was like 20 or 40%. It was something very measurable.
It was
Very
massive. Yeah.
measurable. It was a massive amount. Yeah. And that was, you know, not even that many people. So we know it works. Like, again, this is another thing that we know it makes a difference. It does make a difference. It does matter. Prayer.
It helped me. It honestly helped me. So, say on the environment, I think, oh, okay, so music, what you listen to, back to the, negative people or whatever there is, the music you listen to is very important. They have frequencies. If you listen to, sad music, country music talks about violence and all that, your body hears it and it's creating a negative environment. The cells will not reproduce perfectly. It's a proven fact.
Right.
So,
So on the opposite spectrum, we know that laughter heals,
oh,
because they've
yes.
done studies on that, and we know that laughter heals. We know that if you're being happy, you're smiling, you're feeling love, gratitude, that those are all healing. So I don't know if anyone's proved that the bad stuff is bad for you, but I think it's kind of obvious if the good things are good for you, right? That the opposite would be true.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Had some allergies. The wind yesterday was massive and blowing something in. I've been sneezing and coughing ever since I
I've
was
had
outside.
really bad allergies myself for the last few days. I understand. I understand.
So I apologize.
No, you're
Yeah.
okay. All right. So you want it, you believe it, you know it, you set the
Then you do
environment,
it.
you
Implementation.
get your building materials, and then you implement. Okay.
Just do it. Yeah. All right. So you've got to meditate. Meditation is a topic all its own. But your breathing, your meditation, your imagery is very important. So you imagine either the whole thing, start to finish, or you
Solo.
just imagine it's perfect and ask your body in a very
Solo.
loving, kind way to create that. And it'll agree because it's a part of you. Your body wants to be happy. It wants you to think happy thoughts so it can be happy little workers or part of the happy crew. It literally is. I talk to my bodies, I
Solo.
talk to my cells. Come on, guys, you can do it. Let's make this one more perfect than the one before. Come on, I gave you extra protein. What else you need? And if you listen and you pay attention to like, oh yeah, I need more of. I think I need. I think I need. I think I need pineapple. That's what I. Yeah. So pineapple is actually good. It produces it. There's an enzyme called bromelain, and it helps in the production of macrophage. So macrophages are a little Pac-Man that goes and
And they
scoops up the old.
clean up the little
Yes,
broken, traumatized stuff and get it out of there so your body can heal. Wonderful.
right. So part of knowing thyself, this is part of it. You know yourself. You know what you need. You know what you don't need, or whatever. You have to pay attention to your body. So it's part
Okay.
of the know thyself. You have to pay attention. So,
Okay, so like
like I said,
knowing okay, so like for example that there are definitely healthy foods and unhealthy foods, but everybody is unique. Everyone's an individual.
yes,
And for some
everyone is.
people, like peanut butter is a really healthy, awesome protein. And for other people, it's a life threatening.
So,
It could,
yes,
yes, do them in. So everybody is unique. Everyone's individual. I know you had mentioned to me before that one of the few things that you could get when you were in a really dire state was gelatin, was Jello.
yes,
Right.
yes.
So I know that
Okay,
gelatin's got collagen in it and several amino acids that
yes.
are really healing for the body.
Yeah, and it's depending on which gelatin you get the best if you possibly can. It can even help with diabetes from what the research indicates.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
so
that's true.
for me, I was healing the brain and the nervous system because I had some nerve damage actual physical nerve damage along with the brain injury because I fell so many times. And anyway, so in order for the nervous system, which includes the brain, to heal, it must have massive doses of protein. Protein is major. So when it comes to a vegan diet, it is quite challenging. It's not impossible at all, but it is challenging to get adequate amount of protein in for a vegan diet.
Right.
But it is possible. Good luck with it, right?
Yeah.
I do
Very
recommend that
difficult.
if you're a man or a young boy to stay away from the soy protein. You can get they've all kinds of good stuff now. Some non-GMO, non-soy protein powder, like for bodybuilders. That's a really good place to start and find what works for you and
It is,
what meets
and
your.
there's actually a lot of good products in the bodybuilder lines because they're so
Oh
concerned
yes,
about nutrition. I've actually found that
yes,
myself. They actually have quite a few good products. I'm
yes.
gonna,
So I still drink my protein drinks, my bodybuilding protein drinks. That's just
yep. And I'm
not
gonna
for
agree with you
bodybuilding.
on the gelatin slash collagen issue that Jello.
Yes,
I mean, if you couldn't get anything else than Jello off the shelf, then it would be better than nothing, for sure. But it is still going to
right.
include artificial colors or sweeteners or gosh knows what's in there. So the highest quality is best. And also, I did recently read about lead levels, I guess, are even a concern. So there are brands out there that are good. I found an article recently that's got a lot of great, like I like Great Lakes personally, but that's not the only brand. There's other brands out there that are really good supplements as far as the gelatin, collagen, and getting those amino acids, and it has a lot of protein, like you're saying, a lot of protein.
Yes. So the Jello collagen, Jello slash collagen. So when you're healing the nervous system, um, when the nerves reconnect and reattach, typical thing that happens after that, because your body is drawing so much nutrients in to heal the nervous system that things get depleted and neuropathy can occur.
Oh, it
So
sounds terrible.
so neuropathy, if you're not aware of what it is, it's just damaged nerves or they're reconnecting, but there's still damage to it, and it sends out signals. So the common way for me to explain this that most people can understand if you've ever like been in school or anywhere, fallen asleep on your wrist and your hand goes numb or your arm goes numb or your feet are sitting weird, something goes numb. So when that numbness starts to wear off, your feeling comes back. It's hypersensitive. You get this, oh my God, it feels like it's really big and huge. Oops. and tingles and it hurts and it's pain that you can barely comprehend and describe. As soon as it passes, like, okay. So those that have neuropathy, no matter the cause, that there's damage in the nerve. It's intense. It's intense. For me, the best within a week of taking Jello, my neuropathy dropped probably 50%. So I did go to the doctors, got tested for neuropathy because the doctors wanted to see what extent, I had,
Right. How
what kind
bad
of
was
pain,
it?
how bad is it? So I'm up on the table, well, it's like, the bed, whatever, table, with that crinkly old plastic on it, electrodes hooked to me. They start sending electricity through the electrodes that basically, from top of me, sends it all the way down to my toes to see where the pain's at. And they have these sensors on there that they measure the output. And if there's damage, anyway, somehow they know how to do it. First time they did it, I was breathing. Okay, all right, we done? Nope, nope, we got a few more times. Okay,
Oh,
breathe,
so they're
focus.
hurting you every time they're doing it.
Oh my God, you're getting electrocuted. And then there's massive pain on top of that, on top of being electrocuted. So by the third time he did it, I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm done. I said, if you hadn't figured out I'm hurting, I don't know. He's like, no, this is great. Hold still. I'll be right back. I'm like, what? I'm wiping the tears, trying to breathe. Be good here, Yuvonda. Come on, clear it out, clear it out. Doing all this. I think there were 3 other doctors that showed up. And they're like, yeah, go ahead, do it. They're all standing back. They're doing this. They're looking. They're like, whoa, check that out. Anyway, I pegged it out. Whatever it was, they couldn't measure accurately how bad the pain
So it
was.
was really bad.
They were taking, they had their cameras out. They were taking pictures and
Oh,
everything.
that's
Not of me, of
ridiculous.
the actual
Oh.
monitor showing everything.
But how
Anyway,
heartless to keep hurting you over and over again just because they wanted to show their friends and take pictures.
yes,
Wow.
this is actually that's the norm. That is literally I ran across that far too many times. Needless to say, I got up. I took the electrodes off.
I don't blame you. Yeah. Just stick them on
I
one of those
left.
guys' heads? Because no, probably not. I
Uh,
bet you wanted to.
it, I wasn't really mad, but the chemical. I left. I think I slept for a couple days after that.
Oh, yeah.
It was a rough test. So I don't recommend anyone getting tested for neuropathy unless it's absolutely necessary. You get an electrocuted and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the Jello really helped. And I took, it was just Jello brand gelatin
Sure. That's all you
because
could
at
get
the
right
time
then, right? That's all you could get.
I wasn't capable of getting online and finding the best. I was not in my own home environment because somebody was caring for me at that point. You know, I wasn't capable of getting something, the best stuff for me. And I knew Jello would work, and I had lost so much weight. The calories were fine. I figured afterwards I'll do a good detox. We'll be fine. And it helped. Like I said, within a week of me consuming Jello,
Wow.
the neuropathy dropped dramatically.
I'm actually
Uh,
not overly surprised, only because there's so many amazing benefits. Like I mean, there
oh,
really
it's
is.
it's
Like you
incredible.
mentioned
Yes.
that there's some indication that it can help people that are diabetic. But also there's evidence that it helps with your skin, your hair, your
Hair,
bones, your
nails,
connective
everything.
tissues, also your digestive system, your
Yes.
intestines, and then they think it even helps with sleep too. I mean,
Yes.
there's really a lot to it. Again, getting a good quality one though, not one, that's filled with
Correct.
toxins. But
I think I had some at that time, some good collagen gelatin, but I needed to put it in a hot liquid.
yeah.
And so you have to remember my abilities were extremely impaired. So the gelatin, it gels very quick when the hot liquid starts to cool down. Well, I couldn't drink it until the liquid started cooling down, so I only had just a moment or two to drink. If it was hot, I would burn myself, I'd spill it, I'd do
Oh.
something. So So on the Jello, it was, you know, pour it in the hot water, mix it up, add a little more cool water to it, give me a straw, and I just drank it.
I don't blame you.
That-
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I just wasn't capable. They tried the, Jello squares. I couldn't get a Jello square into my mouth. Now, if I put my face down in the plate, I could suck it in.
That's terrible. Well, I find that I can add Jello because I do have the brand that I like, and I do find that I can add Jello into a smoothie, like the actual powdered jelly and gelatin into a smoothie if I blend it up right away. If you let it set too long, it's going to thicken though. But you can
Yes.
actually also get it's collagen hydrosalate, which is the same thing. That's what's good for you in gelatin, and then it just doesn't gel. So you can mix it into cold liquids
Oh,
with and cold or warm liquids and not it doesn't gel. But it's got the exact
okay.
same health benefits. So collagen hydrosalate. Yeah, and I know Great Lakes makes a wonderful one.
No. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not affiliated by the way. I just happen to really like them. So I'll throw it out there. But
Oh,
yeah,
thank
it's a
you.
fantastic supplement. Love it. Fantastic supplement.
Yeah. Okay, so
So
this is the
is there
process that I go ahead.
no, you're fine. I just want to go ahead and do a quick recap on this and get you out of here. Um, you were absolutely a non-speaking quadriplegic, and clearly you are no longer that. You walk, you talk, you do all kinds of things, and beautifully. And I
Thank
know that
you.
you said that you need to want it if you want to heal. You need to believe it if you want to heal. You have to know it. So those are all separate things. And then setting the
Yes.
proper environment and getting the right building materials for inside your body and then that implementation of that. And so that's
Yes.
how you healed yourself. Is there
Yes.
anything else you want to add to that? And then I'd like to show them just a few quick pictures of your orgone materials and then get you out of here.
Thank you. So, prayer is very important. The other thing, this was not a one and done for me. This was all my waking time. As much as I could handle, this is what I did. I was either in a meditative state, I was eating, or trying to care for myself, or asleep. That was it. That's all I did. That's all I did.
So
That's
100%
it. And I
commitment.
didn't 100% committed.
Yeah, because all of
And
those things are you healing. Resting, the
yes,
sleeping, obviously getting
yes,
the building materials, eating, um,
yes,
the meditating. Yeah, all of those
yes,
things. So 100% commitment.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's
You
if
were
you want it,
yeah, I
it's
just got to
there.
say you're so inspirational. You're absolutely so inspirational to me. You're so inspirational. And I think other people are going to find a lot of help from this too. I
I
want to
hope
tell
so.
you guys too that Yuvonda has Yuvonda's Healing Arts Etsy store, and she makes the most wonderful orgone products. And we'll get into that on another day, I'm sure, or she'll talk about it another day. But her products are absolutely the best ones I've ever used. I love them. I have a whole bunch of her products. I use a lot of her stuff. So just let you know. So Yuvonda, if you want to go ahead and give him your final words.
Thank you all. I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching. If you got any questions, comments, suggestions on what you want me to talk about next, please put it in the comments below. If you are interested in a Reiki session or two or three, email me at yuvonda@protonmail.com. And I want you to
Excellent.
know that you are powerful. Know thyself. Love thyself. Always stand for truth.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you so much, Yuvonda. I'm Divine Fractal, and we'll see you soon.